Hi everyone, this video got pushed up the priority list due to a video by Family History Fanatics promoting the usefulness of Rootsmagic 8 colour coding. Rootsmagic 8 colour coding is far from best in class. Even Family Tree Maker 2017 exceeds it. It does start to worry me when a channel like Family History Fanatics with a very large subscriber base starts showing a bias towards a particular product, and also when the vice president of that product starts describing them as friends and promoting their video channel. Their subscribers are relying on them for good, impartial review of the best products and the best methods, and really they should adhere to that responsibility. So if you want to see what's available out there in genealogy software to best serve your needs, click the subscribe button down below and the bell to get notification of future videos. Let me add that Family Historian is not the best product in every single aspect, but it is in most. I would hope someday one genealogy software will serve all of my needs, but for now, Family Historian is serving most. So let's dive in. In this video I'm going to be concentrating on the Family Historian diagrams view. Now Rootsmagic doesn't have an equivalent view, but I want to stress that you're not stuck to that in Family Historian. It's just my preferred view and a lot of other people. Here we can see the family view. And one important thing that I like, it says here spouses and children. So George here had 3 spouses. The first one he had 4 children to. Second one he had no children to. And the third one, let's scroll down, he had 3 children to. And that's all on one screen and easy to see. There's a few other tabs here. You can go to parents and siblings for a slightly different view. Ancestors, which is very like the Rootsmagic pedigree view. And lastly, descendants view. Now I know a lot of Rootsmagic users work in the descendants view, and I believe the reason that they do that is that they can see all of the issues on one screen. Now that's what you're going to see in the Family Historian diagrams view. All of the issues on one screen. And you can see here George at the top, you've got Margaret Ann Miller, Jane Renison and Henrietta Davidson. That's the 3 spouses. It's also important for me and very productive, and I want to note this. So normally you'll open the properties box on the main tab. But I'm going to flick over to the facts tab here. Now that's equivalent to sliding a window in Rootsmagic. But with the facts tab now selected, any person that I select here, their data is in the right hand panel, and if we make edits to any of these individuals or facts, this is all done live in the database. There's no opening an edit person screen or moving anything else in. All of the data is there and ready to view. You're maybe asking, how do we get to this diagram screen? So quickly before I leave here, we have George highlighted here. On the top bar here we have ancestors, descendants, both, and all relatives. I'm going to use both, and I just click here, confirm that the individual is the George that I want, and here we are in George's diagrams view. Immediately I can see with my icons that there's an infant death here. You can see the Irish born and death flags. You can see the DNA match flags. I can zoom right out of that diagram to see the whole family. And right away over here I can see there's a red highlighted box, which means somebody died of heart disease. Let me just open that person's property box, and we can see here that the person died of cardiac failure. That all updates itself automatically, and we'll get to that at the end of this video. I can select an area and quickly zoom in. And again we can see there's a Scottish connection here. Here's Robert Burns with a Scottish birth flag, and Jane Surgener has a Scottish death flag. Eagle-eyed viewers will have also noticed on that top toolbar that there's a publish option, which gives you all of your reports, record details, special data reports, but importantly books and booklets, which is something Rootsmagic 8 users are very much missing, and a lot of Rootsmagic users are not upgrading simply because of that. You create a new book, give it a name, and here you have all of your options for adding to the book. I'm going to close my database now and jump over into the Family Historian sample database, which ships with the program. But we'll return to my database later so that I can describe to you and demonstrate some of the more enhanced features that I use in my day-to-day work. Firstly, we'll start with basic color coding, and that's background color coding of the actual boxes on this chart. Before I do that, I want to look at a few options. This is basically Family Historian out of the box, except for all these little extra icons, which we'll go into towards the end of this video. So you can see some of these have profile pictures and some of them don't. And where they don't have profile pictures out of the box, they don't have a silhouette. So let's look at diagram and then options. Third one along. Firstly, I can click silhouettes. I can go in here, these are the default silhouettes, but I can also add my own silhouettes by browsing and adding pictures that I prefer myself. The other thing I'd like to point out is in text. At the moment I have birth, marriage and death. You can see there's a lot of options here, including notes, ages, etc. I'm going to go for birth, baptism, marriage, death and burial. Family Historian's updating, and now we have all of those extra details, and we also have the silhouettes added here on the right hand side. So here's another chart I have open in the Family Historian sample project. You can see each chart stacks down the left hand side, so I can easily jump back and forward to them, and so I can be working on one family and have another family here. So it's multitasking is very easy in Family Historian. So what are these two red boxes in the center? You probably still don't see any great clue there, but let me quickly explain what some of these little icons are. This one here is a blood relative. This one here is why DNA being shared with the root person. This is the birthplace, which is England in this case. And this is one of my little custom ones, which is I have a burial place for this person, but I don't have a burial photograph. Let me just check. Here's his facts. And as you can see, we have a burial place, but we don't have a burial photograph. And that alerts me to the fact that that's missing. So I know where he's buried, but I don't have a photograph yet, and I should have. This properties box, I can resize this whatever way I want, but importantly, I can drag this about the screen to wherever I want, but I can also drag it off onto a second monitor. And I have a second portrait monitor to the right hand side. You can't see that, and that's where I keep that. Let me bring it back into view. So when I'm working on this, I have Michael highlighted at the moment. If I switch to Jonathan down here, you can see all the details here, and I'm free to start entering data here and changing that as we go. So let's say, Jonathan, I want to highlight what's going on here with Catherine and Julia. You'll see that Jonathan, firstly, he was born in England and he died in France. Really, that's more or less all I have for him. But I'm going to say that he died of a heart attack. So here's the death fact, and I'm going to type heart. Once I tab out of this field, you'll see that Jonathan then becomes highlighted in red, and he also gets a little heart symbol below his information box. These highlights are what we're going to lead on to at the end of this video. I have many of them. But the important thing is I don't have to apply them myself. They're dynamic, and when I enter the conditions, that's when they update. So I don't have to go to Tools, Color Code, and manually update color codes. With the icons, I don't have to remember what the actual highlight is because it's very visual. I can choose my own icons. I can choose from a vast library within Family Historian. So very easily and visually I can see who these people are, where they were born, where they died. You can track really whatever you want. Let me take heart out again. So going back to our previous diagram, very simplest highlighting, which is family line highlighting. So I right click on Anthony here. I select branch boxes. That selects all of these. Right click again. I do format. And box fill I'm going to use, and I'm going to use this little custom color that I've created. Before I do that, let me say that Rootsmagic 7 had 14 colors available for selection. Rootsmagic 8 now has doubled that to 28. Family Tree Maker allows for multiple coloring, which Rootsmagic doesn't. And Devin Noel Lee of Family History Fanatics actually wished for that. It's been wished for a long time ago, I can tell you, because I've been active in Rootsmagic for over 20 years. So in this little palette, basic colours, Family Historian has 48 to select from. But if I go to define custom colours, I can basically define any colour. So the choice within Family Historian is infinite. Basically, it's infinite. So I'm going to choose this little custom colour of mine and click OK. Click OK again, and you can see that Anthony Edward Monroe's line has gone this little sort of pale greeny sort of whatever. So let's do Susan, which is the mother. Again, select branch boxes. Again, select format. Now while I'm here this time, we're going to change. I'm going to choose this pale yellow for Susan, but while I'm here I want to say that I can change the box line. I can choose whatever width I want. I can choose whether it's solid or dotted. I can change the box shape. I can change the text color. I can change the box shadow. There's various things that I can do here, but we're just going to stick with the box line as it is, solid, box fill, pale yellow, and there we are. That's her highlighted. So flicking quickly back to the previous chart, I've already explained Catherine here. She was born in England. She's a blood relative of the root person. She died of a heart attack or heart-related disease. She died in England, and I also don't have a photograph for her headstone or grave marker. We've already said that Jonathan died in France. There's the flag to say he died in France. Let's look around. What are these? Now, different people track different things. Some people track census completeness, and it's a good thing to track. Other people track causes of death. Many people track war and conflict sort of involvements. A lot of people track geography and where people moved about, and I'll cover that in another video further down the line on Family Historian mapping. But these little icons here, these are new to you. You haven't seen these, and you will see them later on. What that's denoting in the way I have it set up at the moment is Thomas Smith Monroe. He's a blood relative of the root person, shares Y DNA. He was on the 1871 census, and he died in Scotland. There's the Scottish flag right there. So what is this little icon? The icon basically means I have it set up, it's an infant death, so he died less than 5 years old. And you can set that whatever way you want, adjusting the age. That's something you can't do in Rootsmagic, is calculate by age. So we can see here he was born in 1869 and he died in 1871. There's the other one here. Let's have a look at John Monroe. Born 1887 in Florida, USA, and died 1888 in Florida, USA. Now I know the way I have these set up. This is a sample project and data from the Family Historian sort of sample project. I don't use USA, I use United States. And the reason why there's no flag showing up here is because of this USA. So let me quickly demonstrate. There's no flags here, no birth flag, no death flag. So let me alter that data, and now you can see the flag for the United States for birth. Here's the data that I've changed. So you can see the flag now for birth, and you can see the flag now for death. If you prefer United States with the expression that I use to do this, which you'll see later on, you can set that whatever way you want. So you can put that birth or death contains USA. This whole display is very ancestry style, and once you start working with it, you'll not want to go back to a flat sort of two-dimensional display. So let me zoom in here on Richard Dowling, and I want to add a spouse to Richard, and all I have to do is drag a box out. I can add a new spouse as a new record, or I can link to an existing record. So I'm going to choose the new record, and I just basically put in her name here, and that's the new spouse added. I'm not going to add any further details, but you can see that even then the blood record to the root is filled in, the mitochondrial DNA is filled in, and the X DNA is filled in. And I can click on Jane at any time and start building out her fact list. There's no facts here at the moment. I can build that out, I can add images, etc, etc. Very simple. I can also move and resize objects just by clicking here. I can take Mary up there, take Stephen up beside her, actually take the whole line over to a new page, resize the whole diagram whatever way I want it. So if I go to charts, DNA diagrams, and I can do the blood relative, I'm going to choose the individual. I'm going to check Ian Munro, Stephen Ian Munro again, same route, and here's another chart. And you can see all of these charts are still stacked down the side, but the interesting thing about this chart, and I'm going to go into this in a separate video, this is Ian Stephen Munro here, so obviously 100% DNA. His sibling is 50% DNA, 50% DNA. His mother and father are 50% DNA, but as we move slightly out to aunts and uncles, we're starting to get 25% DNA. One last thing I want to demonstrate here is, let's go back to Ian Stephen Munro again. Here he is. And if I go diagram, insert into diagram, and I'm going to check, I'm going to put a fan chart in for him. A half fan chart, 6 generations. And there it is. Now it doesn't look very pretty, we haven't really thought it through. So we can resize the chart here, we've done that, and then we've used the move tool to move the parents up out of the way. Now Family Historian has another method of highlighting or adding graphics to a screen, and it's called record flags. So I'm going to walk you through creating one. These can be static, in other words you apply them one record at a time, or you can do them via a query, which I'll touch on very briefly. So here's how you create. I'm going to create a DNA record flag, and the first thing is Joseph Henry Maudsley. This is the first person I'm going to use this flag on. So edit, record flags, new, and I'm going to call this DNA match. And I'm going to apply that to Joseph Henry Maudsley. You can see that not very much happened there, except that Joseph Henry Maudsley now has this DNA match record flag attached to him. So the flag needs a little graphic to go with it. So you go to diagram, go to options, go to boxes. So we're going to add a condition, which is record flag. Choose the record flag, which is the DNA match. OK. I'm not going to change the box fill, the box line, the box shape or anything like that. I'm just going to go for the icon. Tick the icon box, select, and here we are in some of these are custom, these are mine that I've created, but I'm going to go to DNA. I'm just going to choose this black icon. Now watch Joseph Henry Maudsley now. When I click the OK and then OK again, there's the icon. So I've now flagged him as a DNA match. Now if I wanted to do that through a query, I go to query, query window, I'm going to select my USA, the census one, which you'll have seen in other, there it is there. I'm going to run that. I'm going to put in Dibury because that's a lot of these people are in that area. Here's our result set. So I'm going to highlight all of the records, Control A. I can add the selected cell records to a named list, but I want to set a flag in those row records. And the flag I'm going to set, DNA match. If we go back to our chart, and don't forget these all stacked down the left hand side, Joseph Henry, we have already manually added that one. Let me zoom out here, see if I can spot any others. And I've just spotted one there on William R. Schumann. So he was one of the ones that was in that query. So that was done through this query. You can also do it manually. If I highlight Robert Schumann here, edit record flag and give him the DNA match flag, you'll see he also has it. So that's two ways of statically updating, and I can also remove these through a query as well. So we've had a quick look around. We've seen how to statically color code lines and people. We've seen how to add record flags and add a graphic to people to highlight them on new diagrams. And now we probably come to the most powerful part of Family Historian, and that's where the diagrams window and the records on it update themselves automatically based on the data that's in your database. The thing is, we've actually probably covered that already. So let's do a quick little bit of revision. So here we have born in England, died in England. Here we have born in England, 1841, 51, 61, 71, 81 census in England and the 1910 census in the United States. So obviously we know the 1890 is a problem, but we need to find Joseph on the 1900 census, and Joseph dies in the United States. So let's have a look at the diagrams. Diagram, options, boxes, and let me go down here till I find 1841. That's the first expression, and that's as simple as to add as a record flag. And all I'm saying here is if the individual census year equals 1841, then that needs a little icon. Let's have a look at the icon, 41. And if I select that and I look at the numbers, all of these numbers are contained, number labels, they're all contained in the Family Historian graphics library here. If we edit the condition, there's our expression, and that's quite a simple one. But help with expressions, there's a whole knowledge base article on expressions, and there's also the Family Historian user group for help with expressions. The point is, once you enter this expression, any data that's updated will automatically get that flag. Now if I go down through my expressions, you can see here's expression 43rd. So there's a lot of expressions here, and there's a lot of updates that go on, and they go on in the blink of an eye. You don't see them happening. So all you have to do is add the expressions. So you add a condition and you choose expression and you paste your expression in here. You can also choose a data reference from any of the things which are in the database. Point is, that will automatically update based on the data that is in there. So we have seen this one has a little label for 1841 census. Let's shoot back to the top. Let's edit that condition. So this says that the birthplace contains United, and that's enough for me to have United States. I could put United States in there if I want. In your case, you might want USA in there. And the flag is here. So if the birthplace contains United States, you're going to get the United States flag. So let's have a look again at Myron and wonder why he has so many flags. So yes, he's a DNA match. Yes, he was born in the United States. 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. 90's missing again, obviously. 1910. World War I he was in. 1920, 1930, 1940. He was in World War II. He died in France, and I haven't got a picture of his burial record. I also see here that he took part in the American Civil War. Quite a Superman, our Myron. So how does this all work? Well, let's look at it in real time. I'll open this property box. So it goes without saying a lot of this data is made up. So let me take out the military World War I reference, and you'll see this World War I helmet, which is one of my custom icons. You'll see it disappear. By the way, before I do that, I should say that in Family Historian, we've got this 1916 military service fact highlighted. I can copy that fact and then I can paste it. So I've duplicated it. I can also paste it to another person. Let me delete it again. So let me delete the actual 1916 military service and watch the icon here, the World War I helmet, watch it disappear. All the expressions are doing is basically what you would say yourself. If I said to you, does Myron deserve a graphic to say that he was in the United States Civil War? You would look at his data and you would say, yes, he was in the United States Civil War. He did have a part, he did partake in that. And then you would say, yes, he does deserve a graphic. That is all the expression is doing. So here's the military service, US Civil War, and the expression is just looking at each record and deciding whether it deserves a graphic or not. Let's add that World War I fact in again, military service. All I need to do here is put in World War I. And there's the helmet has come back. I don't even put in a date. So how did it know where to put? It's put the World War I helmet between 1910 and 1920. How on earth did Family Historian know how to do that? Let me show you. So going back to diagram and options and boxes, Down through our census records, here's the 1901, 1910, 1911 census, and here is the query with the helmet between the 1911 and the 1920 census. So you sort them with these buttons here on the right hand side so that all of your little graphics appear in the right order. All very simple. So Myron's been through quite a lot of false data entry. Obviously he couldn't have been born in 1835 and took part in World War II and died in France. So he's a bit of a superman, and I need to come back to him. So at the moment Myron is a problem in my database. So I go here, edit, record flags, and I'm going to say is a problem and watch for the graphic. So his background highlighted, he's a problem. And even if I zoom right out, I can still easily see that I need to be coming back to Myron and sorting that problem out. There's another problem up here. So these are very easily recognizable and facts that I need to come back to and resolve. So anyone knows me knows I won't go away without making a suggestion or two. So when using this, if I highlight here by right clicking, I know that this submenu, the right click submenu here, is a diagram related submenu, but this is still a record. So what I'm going to say to the Family Historian developers, I would like to see the option to add a record flag on this right click menu. Left clicking to select the person, going to edit, going to record flags, just to get this up is one click too many. If I didn't know where it was, it's less intuitive. The second thing, diagram options, boxes. I would like to be able to resize this window, and I can't. Most of my expressions, if I go down here past the simple ones, let's go down to this one for example, I can't see this expression and I need to edit the condition to actually see what it pertains to. So being able to resize that box would be very beneficial to me, especially on a larger screen, where I'd be able to see the expressions in context without having to edit the condition to view it. So just those two callouts. That's it for another video. Sorry it ran out a little longer than planned, but as you've seen there was an awful lot to get through. If you got something from the video, then please take a second and click the like button down below just to show your appreciation. And if you want to see further impartial videos, then click the subscribe button followed by the bell to get notifications. I would hope someday one genealogy software package will rise to the challenge of providing all common usernames and providing them well. All I can say at present is that since I started using Family Historian and digging deeper into the powers of Family Historian, my research has really went into overdrive through strong queries and visual hint tracking. I would also hope that Family History Fanatics make it clear to their considerable subscriber base that they are not necessarily recommending and promoting the best software package, especially in the light of the daily negative comments on some user groups. That's only fair to their users. They have a large user base which are expecting good advice. I have admired many of their DNA based productions, but I can't recommend or link out to their channel while they're showing a bias towards one software package or another. So remember to subscribe if you're seeking impartial, unbiased reviews and instructional videos, and also take some time to check out my other videos. The Rootsmagic 7 Fixing of Family Links is in the pipeline. I've collected all the material for that. I also plan to update my media management production from years ago. There'll also be a revamp of place management, and hopefully in the future Family Historian will facilitate the geocoding of place details, which they call addresses. And also I'm going to try and present my way of facing the new challenge of DNA matches that we get through Ancestry, MyHeritage, etc. My email address is on screen, so if you want to get a zip file containing some expressions that I've used in this video and also some of the custom graphics that I've used, then just subscribe to the channel and shoot me off an email. I also appreciate any of your comments down below. Don't forget to click the like button for me, that's important. And outside of that, just stay safe and happy hunting.